Hi, do you like my Bakugo shirt? My sister got it. Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fatima, and today we're going to be talking about books I read in July. I forgot the month there for a second. I read 14 books this month. Now let me put out a disclaimer. Normally, I don't read that many books in a month, and there's a few reasons why I have so many books this month and in general this year. It's just because of COVID. I graduated back in March of 2020, and then from there I had a job up till January, so I couldn't read as much in that year. But then once January passed, I basically had a lot of time to just read until I have school in September again. Because of COVID, I've been able to read a lot more, and I'm very lucky that I had a job from home. And also, like, this month I've read a lot of shorter books, maybe like 100 to 200 pages long type of books. This isn't normal. I don't normally read 14 books in a month, but so the first book I read this month is called Trial of Sorcery by Richard Fierce, and I listened to this as an audiobook on YouTube because it was like on YouTube, and I was like, oh, what is this? It's a super quick read. It's a very typical fantasy book. I didn't see anything that kind of stood out or anything. The narrator had an accent, so if you don't like that, maybe pick up the ebook instead. So basically this story follows a young man who wants to be a dragon rider like his father, and so he has to go to this prestigious dragon rider school or whatever, and he's able to get in because of the reputation of the dad. And then you kind of see him unveiling some secrets, and he has to go through a bunch of trials to get into this school. It's very tropey, very typical. I don't think there's anything all that fascinating about this one. The plot twists weren't really plot twists. They were just kind of basic. If you've read a lot of fantasy books, you'd just be like, yeah, this is just another one. It's cute, it's fun. If you've never read any fantasy books, maybe you'd like this one. Or if you just want something easy to get through, this would probably be a great read for you. I gave this 3 stars just because I didn't hate it, I didn't love it. It was just kind of there for me. The second book I read that month was the sequel to that first book, and it's called A Bond of Flame, also by Richard Fierce. And again, I also listened to this on YouTube. I'll just put the link down below for it. Yeah, so you just kind of continuation of that first story. And I don't want to get into spoilers, so I won't say anything about the summary. Yeah, it just continues following this character and his quest to be a dragon rider. And I also gave this one 3 stars, again, because I didn't hate it, didn't love it. It was just, it is what it is. So the next book I read was Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Seanan McGuire. And this is kind of like the second book in the Wayward Children series, which is like after the Every Heart a Doorway book. So it's in that series, in that world. And I thought it was cute. I quite enjoyed Jack and Jill's story. In this book, we're following Jack and Jill, and I remember really loving the first book and really loving these characters. And so you kind of just see the backstory of Jack and Jill, and also how they got to their doorway and their world, and it was fun, it was cute. I still by far like the first one a lot better. The first one is probably going to be on my top favorite books I've read this year. I liked it, it was fun. I don't know, I felt like it was kind of unnecessary to have it, but you know, it was fun. It was cute. I gave it 4 stars because I quite enjoyed it. And the next book I read was Beneath the Sugar Sky, which is the sequel to the last book I read. This one follows kind of a new set of characters, but not a new set of characters. We get introduced to a new character, which is one of the daughters of one of the children who was in that world. I don't remember their name. She, you know, passes into a doorway and it's just like, hey, I need help in my own land, you gotta help me out. And so a bunch of the children from our boarding school goes and quests. Again, it was cute. Again, I by far like the very first book of this series. Everything I find kind of wraps up very neatly, very nicely for a lot of her books. Stakes, it's kind of a pattern where there's like big stakes, but then I kind of have a feeling things are gonna be okay. So it's just kind of like, if you want something cute and fun, I guess that's what you can read. I'm very adventure-y. I like the length of the books. I don't think she The pacing is great. There's no dragging, and this is kind of like what happens with a lot of her books. So yeah, that's fun. I gave it 3 stars because 3 stars for me is like a meh read. Like I didn't hate it, didn't love it, but yeah. So the next book I read was In an Absent Dream, also by Seanan McGuire, and it's the 4th book in the Wayward Children series. This one follows Lundy and how she got to her doorway and her backstory. It's cute. I enjoyed this one a little more than the last one. I gave this one 3.5 stars. So the next book I read was The Seep by Shanna Porter. I hope I got that name right. This book was weird. It's basically about this very, very slow alien invasion, and it's like a substance that they can drink, or it's in the air or whatever that they drink, and then it helps that alien kind of embed itself into you, and it helps you understand the world more. And you see our main character struggles with this idea of, I guess, individuality. I don't really know how to explain this book other than it's kind of weird. I don't think I really enjoyed reading it, but it's interesting. I gave this 3 stars because I kind of felt mad about it. I don't know if I really loved it though. I don't think I really liked it all that much. I just remember it being weird. I don't know if I could do it justice just by talking about it. I think you'd have to read it to like really see what I mean by it's weird. Okay, so the next book I read was Across the Green Grass Field. It's another Wayward children's book. This one I quite enjoyed. This one follows a completely new character that we haven't seen before. At least I think so. I don't remember from the other books. And she gets trapped into this like horse hoof world. Yeah, it's really fun. It was super cute. I quite enjoyed this one. And this one I gave 4 stars. So the next book I read was also another Wayward children's book, which is called Come Tumbling Down. Again, cute, fun. And this one follows events in Jack and Jill's story again. I don't want to spoil what happens in the first book for this stuff, so I'm just gonna say this is more stories of Jack and Jill. I gave this one 3 stars just because I feel like we're kind of starting to kick a dead horse at this point. But it was cute, it was fun. I didn't hate it, didn't love it, so it got 3 stars. So the next book I read was House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. It was interesting. So basically this story is about how these 3 sisters disappeared one day when they were children, and a few months later, I believe, they came back and they didn't remember anything what happened to them, and now their hairs are all turned white instead of black, and they act weirdly, and weird things happen around them all the time now. There are aspects of this book that I quite enjoyed and aspects that I really did not enjoy. So I really enjoyed that there was a strong sister bond between the 3 girls, that they really felt like sisters. I don't like when stories have this weird sibling rivalry that isn't necessary, or they're just jealous of each other or something. Like I don't get it. My sister's my best friend, so I really enjoy when there are good, strong sibling relationships. I didn't necessarily hate this book, but pacing was so slow and it felt so dragged. I feel like it didn't need to be as long as it was, and I gave this 2.5 stars. I don't know, this one just wasn't for me, I don't think, and it just felt like it was dragging on forever. And I was like, okay, I get it, let's move on to the next thing. Like, I think the only character I actually really liked was Tyler. And even then, it was just kind of like, meh, I didn't love him. Yeah, like the main premise, main plot point of, oh, the sister's missing, we have to go find her, happened so far into the book. I was like, what is the point of this book? I was like, I don't get it. This is not fun to read. And I'm like, okay, sure. The next book I read was Ghostopolis by Doug Tennaple. So my baby brother had this copy just lying downstairs. He got it when the library was just giving away all their like old books that is like either get new copies or whatever, so they were just giving away their old really crusty books. It was cute, I guess. This is basically about this young boy who accidentally gets pulled into a ghost world, spirit world thing, and these ghost hunters have to go save him. Yeah, this story was kind of meh for me as well. The art was also meh. Like, it was cute and maybe not my style, but you know, it's very hard to make comics, so you know, props to that. Everything ties up too nicely, And I get it, it's like a children's book, so like a middle grade book, but the conflicts weren't all that scary, I guess I want to say. I didn't worry about any of our characters. I didn't really care about any of our characters, and I was just like, it is what it is. So I gave it 3 stars. So the next book I read was Middle Game by Shannon McGuire. I know a lot of people really love this book. I did not. I thought it was okay at best. I thought it was super slow paced. It dragged so much, and I was like, okay, like can we move on? Like like can we get to the ending? Like I'm just over this, you know? This follows twins, and one of them is really good with language and words, and the other one's really good with math and numbers, and together they have to get to basically this alchemical, super interesting world or whatever. Like they're the keys to get to that world. This book, I know the point of it is supposed to be what's going on, like I don't get it, like blah blah blah. I was not like that. I was just like, okay, I know what's happening. I don't know, maybe I don't know if it was supposed to be super hard to guess what's happening or whatever, but it wasn't for me. And I don't want to give spoilers out though, so I'm not gonna spoil the book, but it was okay. I like strong sibling relationships. I thought the concept was intriguing. I thought it was really boring, and I felt like I was dragging through the book. I liked how in her Wayward Children series, like it was short, it was quick to the point. It was like, the pacing was really good in those books, and I think that this one, the pacing was really boring, and I was just like, okay. Like usually if I'm really attached to the characters, I won't mind if the pacing is slowish, but I guess I just wasn't attached to these characters as much. I gave this 2.5 stars because I didn't feel meh about it. It was starting from meh to like, I don't like this. So yeah, I just didn't like it all that much, and I enjoyed, I think, like the last few bits of the book. It was just boring. Sorry. Oh, also, I just don't, there's a lot of like time travel-y type things that happen in this book, and I'm just not a huge fan of like time travel-y things in books. There's just too many possibilities that I can think of happening, and it's just, the rules are so flimsy with time travel-y stuff. I don't know. And maybe just not for me. I don't like time travel-y type of books or stuff that play with time. The next book I read was City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. This book follows a girl who can see ghosts, and her parents are like ghost hunters and / a historian. So the mom's like a ghost hunter, the dad's like an historian, and they're having a TV show where they're gonna be going to the most haunted places in the world, and they're bringing along their daughter. They don't actually see ghosts and stuff like that, only the daughter does, and they don't really know, like it's for real. And you kind of just see her journey through there. And her best friend is a ghost. It's cute, it's short, it's very easy to get through. The characters are quite likable. The plot and the story structure is pretty basic, but it was very fun to read through. I gave this book 4 stars because I quite enjoyed it. So the next book I read was Tunnel of Bones by Victoria Schwab, and this is the second book in that same series. This now follows them in another location, and this one I really enjoyed as well. It was cute, it was fun. No, I like this one better than the first one. I'm gonna give this 4 stars as well. I thought it was cute, it was fun. The main bad guy that we're meeting this book, I enjoyed a lot more than the first main bad guy that we saw in the first book. The story was pretty heartbreaking, and I quite enjoyed it. I think it was fun, and I definitely want to read more. The last book I read in July was The Girl from the Sea by Molly Ostertag. It's a comic, it's a graphic novel, and it follows a girl who struggles with her queerness and falls in love with a Selkie. And if you know anything about like Selkie myths and stuff, they're super cool, super fun. It takes inspiration definitely from those Selkie myths. So we kind of just see their story from there, and it's cute, it's meh. I don't know, I feel like I read a lot of meh books this month. I don't know, maybe the conflicts didn't feel all that big to me. It wasn't all that heart-pulling to me. It was cute, sure. It was short and easy to get through. It had cute art. I gave it 3 stars because I didn't necessarily love it, didn't necessarily hate it. So that's all the books I read in July. You know, I read quite a bit, but a lot of them were like pretty short, and I have a lot of time now because of COVID. Yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you have a good day / night, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Do you like my Bakugo shirt? He's so pretty. He's so pretty.